Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to Femme Fatale, Women in Horror panel here at the FanExpo in the Morgue Festival here. My name is Liisa, Ladouceur, and I work with Morgue magazine. I am delighted to be here to facilitate this conversation between some of the most interesting, passionate, and weird women making horror pictures today. Right here to my right is Patricia Chica. Is that right?
Hello, yes.
El Salvador-born Canadian woman. And you've been making documentaries and films for years, and we're going to talk today about your short film,
Yes.
Which is just premiered, right?
Yes.
It's brand new this year?
This one, Ceramic Tango.
Ceramic Tango, starring a friend of Morgue, the Richard.
Yes. Woo!
Everyone who's ever met him just clapped. So I just would like to go down the table very quickly and ask you how you got into film. Were you making short films in your backyard as children? Did your parents send you to acting school? How did you enter this weird world of cinema?
That's a long story, but to make it short, I started taking photography when I discovered the camera when I was 9 years old. And I was telling stories with single still photography images. And I always knew I wanted to be a director. So when I was 16, I told my parents I'm going to film school. And they said, well, you're the first of your class. You have enough great marks to go to medical school or finance or anything like that. And I said, no, I want to become a director. And I've been directing films since I was 16 years old. So that's my call, my passion, and what I've been doing. So to me, it was very clear since the beginning what I wanted to do.
Show the clip from Patricia's short film, A Ceramic Tango. Can you set it up for us? What is a ceramic tango? And what were your intentions with this film in terms of, were you trying to freak people out? I know you're interested in sort of like twisted psychology. And
Excuse me.
I know that you're interested in sort of psychological horrors. So
Yes.
what was your intention with this short film? Were you trying to sort of make it a mind fuck? Like what is Ceramic Tango?
Ceramic Tango is the title that was found by the writer Charles Hall. He's from Toronto. I'm from Montreal. And when I do films, I like to explore the darker and the quirkier side of the human experience, the most deviant minds. And when I read the screenplay, I had found a good story to tell with a punchline at the end. And my work is something that reveals the psychology of the characters. But my intention when I make films is also to make people think about different lifestyles, subject matter, mostly the alternative, counterculture. And this is a tale about HIV. So, and the way that I wanted to express this story is by using the psychology of the lead character. So the film is almost like you enter his mind, and every shot, everything in it has to do with how he sees the world. So it's a project that I did to explore more the intra-psychological aspects of a character, and it's a character study as well. So the clip we're going to see, it's the beginning of the film, and you will be able to see a little bit the guy who is a little lost. He's played by Holy Scar. And something I'd like to say also is that it's the first time since I got out of film school that I worked with non-professional actors. So I had to train them for 8 weeks in order for them to play these characters. And I casted 2 fetish icons, the Richard and Holy Scar, and they had to play complete dramatic roles in this film. And I think they successfully achieved that in Ceramic Tango. So we can watch the clip.
this what you're looking for? Go ahead. See what happens.
911, where is your emergency? What is your emergency? Can I help you?
Henry Ian Vincent speaking.
Are you all right?
Everything's fine.
Are you sure? Is there anyone there? 911?
I know you're scared, but you can't ignore me forever. You weren't so tongue-tied in the doctor's office, acting all defensive. Not me. That happens to other people. Huh? Okay, I know this dance. Tell you what, let's start over from the beginning. Pretend I'm not here. Scream. Let it out. It won't change a thing. It won't change a thing. But Riley, consider this. Maybe the person that you fear the most in your life right now is you. Your move.
So what we've learned so far here today is that women make horror films where hot guys have their shirts off. I think we're going to see more of that. So what we've seen in the clips here so far is a lot of explorations of sex and sexuality, perversion sometimes, sexual assault. These are difficult topics, also titillating and sensational topics. So this is open to all of you who want to answer it. As females creating genre work that touches on sexuality, do you feel free? Is there any awkwardness or constraints of like how you might be perceived specifically because you're women? Are there things that you want to say that you think you can say specifically because you're women? Why do you work with those themes in your work?
Can I? I'm sorry. I specialize in the sexual subject matter in some of my films. I have explored a lot in the fetish scene and everything that has to do with erotica and drama, of course. Never done porn, not interested in that, just wanted to make it clear. But I think for me is when I make films is kind of a catharsis of things that I'm curious about, that I'm intrigued about. And that's why cinema allows me to explore those realms, to connect with people who are into those worlds and understand better, have a better understanding from within where that comes from. And my work is always related to the psychological side of things. So it's not just sexuality just for the sake of it. It has a meaning and it has a purpose. And I find it very interesting because every human being is sexual and sex sells. I've also been looked upon on people who think that I'm a pornographer just because I have done documentaries about the fetish world and things like that. High-profile decision makers have thought that I was a pornographer, and I am not. So there's a fine line, between delving into sexual subject matter and being perceived as somebody who just does sexual portrayals for the sake of it. Especially for women, I have to say, being a female director, people from the exterior who are more conservative tend to think it's wrong, but when I work with actors or real people in the context of documentaries, being a female really is an asset. Because I'm very open about sexuality, and I would just tell my actor, okay, now get naked. But I say it like I would say, just walk to the X on the ground. It's not sexual, it's just directing. And because I feel comfortable with my own sexuality, people feel comfortable on set. And I think that is the difference. That if the director is not comfortable directing a sexual scene, it's going to be awkward and maybe the actors are not going to feel as comfortable. And it's always very playful, giggles, laughing. But it's all about attitude and energy. Everything has to do, how do you direct people in the right energy for them to be able to perform at their best. A horror movie without the soundtrack is not scary at all. Yeah. For Ceramic Tango, I collaborated with a very talented composer. He writes music for The Walking Dead, Justin Lassen. He's an American. Nice. And the way that happened, I have to tell you the story. I've been a big fan of Justin since 2009. He added me on Facebook back in the early days of, Facebook was still... you didn't have that many friends. So he added me because we had a common friend in England, and I started listening to his music, and back in the day he was not famous. So we started talking about future collaborations, and it never happened until I produced and directed Ceramic Tango. And I thought of him, I only had his music in mind for the film. So I contacted him through Facebook and I said, listen, I really wanted to score my short, but I have zero budget. I cannot pay you, but I really want to work with you. And he said, okay, send me the screenplay, send me a rough cut. So I did, and I think 2 days later he wrote me and I said, I love it. And it was only a rough cut. It wasn't even sound designed or anything. And he wrote the whole score from A to Z. He really got inspired by the character and the story. And he sent me the thing, and it was in the time of the Grammys. So he said, Patricia, I'm really sorry. Take it as it is. If you don't like it, don't use it, but I cannot make any corrections because I have the Grammys and I'm doing more episodes for The Walking Dead. And I said, okay, all right, but when I placed that music on the timeline and I listened to my film, I was actually crying because it lifted the movie to another level that was incredible because he totally understood the psychology of the character and what he was going through with his emotions and his state of mind, and everything was so perfectly scored to the frame. And that is so important, to hire composers or to find great songs like Ave Maria, things like that. It's so, the detail of it, it's so important. For me, 90% of the job is done in sound. And for this project, I had no budget, so I had to learn how to sound design. And I sound designed my short in my house and on Final Cut Pro, and I took sounds from different banks. And sometimes I would slow them down, reverse them, put them again in normal speed. And I explored and experimented a lot and learned so much about sound design. And I got lucky to have the collaboration of a professional sound mixer, and I had 9 days to mix the short because we had so many layers of sounds, and it sounds so good in 5.1 in a theater. So it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions and your attention. Thank you, ladies, for being here.